Hey everybody, welcome back to the DonFuer podcast. Today we're talking to someone very special. His name is Fastvincent. A lot of you people have probably seen his YouTube. He is one of the top creators on the server right now, and he also has a really interesting history. So, say hello, Fastvincent.
Hello, it is I, Fastvincent1.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for letting me on.
So, everyone has a moment where they first saw 2B and thought it looked cool and wanted to join. What was that moment for you?
So this goes all the way back to the Russia War era. So I was sitting on my bed. I was 15 years old, and then I saw the Camping Russia video about his first time joining 2B2T, and I watched him, walk around, look at all the ruins and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty interesting." So I joined about probably a week or two later, because that was usually when I think he did a whole series. Once that video got tons of traction, he started making weekly videos on 2B2T.
Right.
So I joined. The queue was 1,000. I had to wait so long. And yeah, basically, pretty much, I saw spawn. It was ruins, cobblestone, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why I joined was because it's one of a kind server. Even back then, Constantium was just starting, so 2B2T was pretty much the only server that pretty much you could do anything you want. Had tons of lore, tons of old bases. So that's what made me join the server.
Yeah, that's almost exactly the same as my story. I was even sitting on a bed too. I was on my phone scrolling, and I just saw the Rusher video. There aren't many Rushers left. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I did. To be honest, I was not even a Rusher. I just saw that my YouTube recommended.
Yeah, well, same here. I wasn't a fan of him or anything, but there are not a lot of people left who joined in 2016. It's rare that you meet someone who's from that join date, whereas it used to be everyone.
Yeah, that's true. I remember back then, back in 2017, 2018, if you joined in 2016 during the Russia War, you were considered as a new player. But
right.
Today you're considered now as a old player, maybe a mid player.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Just time keeps going.
Have you seen the? They haven't released census data for a long time because those people won't get off their asses. But have you seen the? Have you seen the society census thing that was done in 2022 about player join date?
I think I've heard of it. I can't remember it. It was on Reddit.
Yeah, they did. They posted the results of it on Reddit, but they did this survey, and almost everyone participated in it. There was thousands of participants, and the average join date was 2020. And that was in 2022, I believe. So it's
yeah, we're the old players now.
Yeah, we're the old players, which is so weird. I remember being almost discriminated against for having joined in 2016. There were all these elite players that were "Oh, you're not a pre-June? Well, you just suck," basically. I genuinely remember that. There was new player discrimination or something.
I think that's still a thing today too. Not as the great scale, back then during the peak of Russia War, because that's when people, if you were new and if a old player saw you, he would try to kill you.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah.
but you don't see that nowadays. People try to actually. I think most people try to help new players.
Definitely, I think so too. Um, so you first joined, and then was it like in June, or was it like you said it was a couple weeks later?
Yeah, it was sometime like when he made that first video, like a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
That's when I joined.
What were those first few weeks like on the server? Was it just nomadic lifestyle, or?
Um, yeah, I guess you could say that. Like, my friend Ender MQN, he was on the server before I was. So for the first few weeks, I would just, just wander around spawn, try to get far out so I can survive. Yeah, like pretty much, I just wandered around. I got like iron armor, and then I died from a zombie spawner area, and then I took a break from 2v2t for like a year because of that.
Oh, okay. So you took a break in 2016 before 2016 was over, or?
Yeah, it was like sometime in 2016 is when I took a break from the server, because around that time I was still playing on a Mega Realm, which was a faction server created by Sexy Zach, which is another YouTuber.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just take a break, play with my friends on there.
So you were a factions player before coming to 2B?
Oh yeah, I was a big factions player.
Oh my
If you want, I can talk about that.
This is crazy. Like, every time you describe something, I'm like, well, that was me too. Shit. I was doing factions before, and that's where I knew Hermetic Lock from. We both played on the same faction server before coming to 2B.
I will say my faction era was more like I have tons of stories from the factions era.
Oh, for sure.
Like I have more experience from there than on 2b2t.
Yeah.
Or at least I played more on factions than on 2b2t.
Yeah. Oh, you just mean like you played like more frequently?
No, I think my playtime, because I think I joined factions like Minecraft factions back in like 2000, oh man, like 13, 2014, when I was like 11 years old, which
Yeah.
was pretty insane. But
Way back when it was like when Minecraft was like brand new. Factions was so popular back then now, and now it's like dead, basically.
you know, I will say old factions, like the 2011, 2012 era of factions, was very similar to 2b2t.
Yes.
Because back then, people didn't, build those 100 wall bases, stuff like that.
You're right.
People actually just built castle plots and stuff. And then eventually people just found you and then griefed you. Pretty much like 2b2t.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, dude, I loved it. I loved that back then. That's exactly how I played. Like, I would build DonFuer or whatever as a factions base, and it would be like sort of safe from griefing because unless they're in the claim, they can't break blocks. But so someone could still inside you and then grief you.
yep, that happened to me a lot.
And that usually happened. So it was very anarchy. It just had a few plugins that and you weren't allowed to hack, but it was very cutthroat. I remember that. I liked to play on the smaller servers, generally speaking. Like, I liked servers where there was, maybe 40 players or 60 players, something where I could hypothetically know everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know,
go ahead.
Were you on the big servers, or did you play little smaller servers like that? Or you said you played on a server that a YouTuber had made.
Yeah, so back then, Sexy Zach, he, I don't know, have you heard of Sexy Zach before?
No, I haven't.
So back then, he was a very massive Minecraft YouTuber, and he first owned a server called MCSG.
Hmm.
Not like the MCSG survival game server, but it was a different MCSG where it had like factions and other stuff on the server. So the most popular was factions,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason was because Zexy Zek would do this trolling faction players. Like he would teleport through those players and then pretend to be Herobrine, and then
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So it made tons of people join that server because they wanted Zexy Zek to troll them or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was one of them. So I joined. I don't know when I joined. It was a long time ago. Probably like in 2011, 2012. Actually, you can probably see like my oldest videos. I still have MCSG videos up there. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I bet not a lot of people knew that.
Yeah, I pretty much have all my old videos still public.
That's really cool. I bet a lot of people are who are watching this are gonna immediately go check that out now. That is interesting. So, and that kind of brings me to, I'm gonna skip really far ahead into the interview. But that does bring me to the like YouTube side of things, right? Do you think that, I mean, you played on that server that was basically like that YouTuber's server, and then you came to 2B, which was like super heavily influenced by YouTube, and then you started your own YouTube. Do you think that in order for a Minecraft server to really be successful, they have to have YouTubers?
I think YouTubers do help the server thrive. Because if you do, okay, I was working on this video about like Mineplex's rise and fall, pretty much. So when I was looking into that, I saw like where the peak was with Mineplex is when they had Captain Sparkles, all these other YouTubers, Sky's Minecraft, making videos on Mineplex like occasionally. So that would bring tons of new players to the server. And then once they all stopped playing Mineplex, stopped advertising Mineplex, that's when it started to slowly decline in popularity. So you can also see that with, 2B2T, right?
Yeah.
Back when, like, pre-June 2016, the server was about to die pretty much. And then, Rusher, he made the videos, and then, that skyrocketed the popularity. And then FimC, videos skyrocketed popularity, even to today. And then Sal and I keep adding, viewers to join the server.
Right.
Pretty much. So I do think, YouTubers help the server, but I think if they can advertise the server correctly without YouTubers, I think they can still make a server thrive. But YouTubers help a lot.
I think it's probably much, much harder if you don't have YouTubers, to gain players organically. Like, yes, if your gameplay is really, really good and the server is solid, new people might join, but YouTube just skyrockets people to a crazy level of success that I think would take a really long time to reach without that. But that's kind of what I'm afraid will happen to 2B. Like, in the long run, I think as it's reached a point of, I mean, obviously people like you and Sal and others are like doing God's work, basically, like keeping the server alive, and it still uploads occasionally too, so the server is staying afloat, but it's not like the mega level of popularity that it used to be. And I don't know, it seemed like a couple years ago there was a bunch of new YouTubers joining all the time and making videos, and that it's reached a point of market saturation now where I don't think there are any new players to discover the server.
Well, I have something to say about that.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I started making these shorts, I would get tons of comments. Even today, I think like yesterday, they say like, "Wow, I'm interested about 2B2T. What's 2B2T?" And then like they say like, "What's the IP?" and stuff like that. There's always going to be new players as long as people keep uploading videos, because the old, let's say, okay, so let's start now. A new viewer joins 2B2T, right? And then a couple of years later, they become an old player, and they leave.
Yeah.
But if the YouTuber is still uploading, new viewers will keep joining 2B2T, and then those new viewers will become old players, and then there will always be a constant state of new players join because there is 8 billion people in this world, and
That's
like
true.
let's say, there's always new kids watching 2B2T stuff like that, and then they join, and then they grow older, stuff like that. So it's a cycle
true.
as long as people keep making videos.
There may be there. I think you're onto something there because there is kind of a bottomless supply of like people from other countries who maybe didn't know about the server yet, or younger people who were maybe like too young when Rusher did his thing or whatever, but now it's a few years later and they're teenagers and now they're actually going to join, there may very well be enough to sustain the server long term. I guess we're going to find out.
And you also have to think about this too. There's always new bases being created, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even old bases. I still have to document so many old bases, like in space. I just had to document Moon Megabase too because Autopia was sending something to me for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
there's still unknown players from back then too.
Mu Megabase is one of the more famous ones.
Yeah.
And in terms of history, there's a bottomless amount of history basically on the server. There's probably more history on 2B than any other Minecraft server, just because of the sheer scale of it and how long it's gone on. And I'm sure you know this because that's your main focus on the videos mostly.
There is so much. The only problem right now is just I have to make the scripts for them. That's the only issue I have.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is pretty easy for me, but just like making the scripts, making sure everything's accurate is the hardest part for me.
The research part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see how that would be the hardest part. Because one of the things that people compliment you for, and I think part of the reason the community loves your channel specifically, is like you try really, really hard to be very accurate with everything. And yeah. I think that's appreciated by the actual like player base.
I feel like that's how history should be told. But I do know like it's hard to do it in real life because you can't really ask the people from back then, what really happened, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you should also try to tell both sides of a story. If you want like a non-biased type of video, tell both sides and then let the viewer decide which what's correct for them. But always keep like the history accurate enough where you tell both sides for each video.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should be.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to your like time on the server. So you created, was your first major base Hamlet, or was there another base like before that?
Trying to think here.
Because that's the one a lot of people know about.
I think Hamlet. Yeah, Hamlet is my only major base. Well, at least I created.
Yeah,
Hamlet.
So do you want to tell us about that? Like, how did you start it? And it seems like it was around for many years.
Yeah, close to like 5+ years.
Yeah, that's great. 5 years. That's a long. That's like a long time. That's a crazy amount of time.
I'm trying to think when I started. It was like 2018. Might be more than 5 years. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was 5+ years. So it started back in 2018. Ender MQN, the guy I just talked about like a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I messaged him because he was a Mega Realm player, like I was back then, and we're both in the same group. So I messaged him about like 2B2T and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm on 2B2T as well. So oh, that's cool. So then I joined 2B2T again, and I tried to venture to his base. I think I remember. I was on the X Plus highway, I think, and then so pretty much I was going super far out just to find a location to like build a base for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I found the location of Hamlet, which was like 1.5 million blocks out from spawn. I would build like a house. Trying to think, like the house with the villagers on the porch with like a basement. That was the first house at Hamlet. So eventually I messaged Ender MQN saying like, hey, we should meet up. So okay, so he came to my base. He brought tons of shulkers. He found like shulkers and he brought them to the base. So that's how I got my my stuff there, or like my least like a major stuff from back then.
Yeah.
Because before that, I only had one shulker kit from like another player. But now I had like tons of shulkers, like probably like 12, I think, with like just like PvP kits and materials, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, Ender MQN and I we would build this like dupe stash area, because I think around that time was the chunk dupe, and the chunk dupe, you could argue that one was the biggest dupe on the server.
I think
Well,
so.
at least like the chunk dupe. So we built this huge, like it was like a pig tunnel, and then we built this like obsidian box thing, so we could just like dupe tons of PvP kits, materials, illegal items as well, like the heads and 32Ks, stuff like that. So yeah, we did that. We got tons of like double chests of those shulkers and stuff like that. And we just kept building there. Well, Ender MQN he left the server, and then I kept building other stuff like a pigment farm that never worked, XP grinder that never worked, and then I built this huge dome in the water that connected to like a spruce type of dock area. And eventually became like empty. Like I went back to spawn because I got bored being out in the millions doing nothing. So
Right. Right.
yeah, so eventually the base just became like a area where I would re-gear myself.
Okay.
And then yeah.
So it was like, it wasn't like 5 straight years of constant activity. It was more like a place you could return to resupply and stuff. Like,
Yeah, resupplying just a place where if I was bored, wanted to go somewhere that was safe, I would just stay there and relax.
gotcha. I'm a
Good.
So this base eventually got found by Nemo, of all people.
Yeah, Nemo VFX.
To DonFuer members, that was hilarious because Nemo is like this. He's like this this like Asian kid that's just builds all the time. He's actually a really good builder. When he first joined us back in like 2022, he was pretty bad, to be honest, but he was just relentless, and now he's actually good. But anyways, was that like a devastating thing that happened, or?
In the moment, yeah, because that was like the first time I've ever been found or griefed on the server. When I first saw him, I was like, whoa. And I was like, he was actually moving too. I thought it was just an AFK player, but it was an actual person just, at the same time, at the same place, millions of blocks out, right? Like, that is so rare. And, like, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I might as well be a friend with him. Because if I, try to be an enemy, then he'll probably just blow everything up.
Yeah.
So, I was like, hey, man, what's up?
Did he end up blowing it up?
No, he was actually pretty peaceful.
Oh.
I showed him around, gave him like a tour, and then we agreed like to split half and half because he found it. He decided not to blow it up, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
All the materials and stuff. So yeah, we just went half and half. The base, stayed pretty safe until I made the video. Yeah, once the video came out, I released the course myself.
Oh, okay.
And pretty much because it was all like it was compromised already. I can't really do much with it. All the materials were gone.
Right.
So might as well make it public. I already took a world download. So yeah, I made the video. People went out there. I'm pretty sure Ranch went out there like a few hours after the video came out.
Yeah.
That
was a big deal. I remember that when that happened. It was like, oh damn, like what a crazy find. And after 5 years, it's kind of remarkable it didn't get found sooner.
Yeah, it was like so close to like it was not even millions of blocks out. It was only like 1.5 million blocks. I mean, to someone who hasn't played 2B2T, that's really far out. But if you play for a while, you would know that like 1 million blocks on the X Plus highway, because it was the Z was only like I think like 800 blocks in the Nether.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like right on the highway. So it was pretty remarkable how it survived 5 years being that close to a highway.
That moment on 2B, when someone shows up to your base and you see them, like it's always like that's always a scary moment. Especially the first time it happens, You
also have to think about the odds, right? Because how rare is it, like someone has to be so like millions of blocks out, right?
Right.
And then they have to be on at the same time as you, which is like pretty rare on its own. Because usually, if your base gets griefed, you're not online for it.
Right. You just log in.
You just like log in and then it's all blown up. Yeah. So it's a pretty rare occurrence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always crazy when you like log in at the same time when someone has found it or when someone's stealing all your shit or like. But I've had that happen to me like a bunch of times. It sounds like it's statistically improbable, but I don't know. I think almost every 2B2T player has a story like that where, in fact, I think that's a quintessential part of the experience. Is having that,
think like
that crazy, devastating moment or whatever.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking about like I think it also happened during the faction era too. Like we log in and then we hear just like TNT explosions hitting the walls.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like a rare occurrence, but I mean to be fair, 2B2T like because on the faction server there's like a radius on how far you can go,
right?
Like 10,000 blocks. But on 2B2T it's like millions of blocks, so it's like when it happens on there, it's like pretty insane.
It's it's literally a needle in a haystack. Basically.
Yeah.
I think 1 block is 1 meter of real life space, which means if you're 2 million blocks out, you're 2,000 kilometers. That's like a 2,000 kilometer search radius if you're looking for someone's base. The Minecraft world itself is like bigger than Earth.
Yep.
So there's a lot of places to hide. It is a needle in a haystack thing, especially if they're not using hacks or whatever. Like the chunk, whatever it is, new chunks. I've never been a base hunter, so I don't know.
Oh, there's like tons of new stuff nowadays. I think there was like a whole GitHub page that just released a week ago for like new types of ways to find bases now.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty insane.
So you were part of a group called Conquest?
Yep. Conquest.
What was the deal with Conquest? Because I remember it being around, but not very much else.
So that started also around like trying to think, like maybe 2019 when I was back at Spawn. Yeah, I went back to like after Hamlet. I left Hamlet, went back to Spawn. I met Wazy Vibes. He was at Spawn building like a tunnel at the 00. I mean, back then there was a huge water cube type of thing. There was like a square cube. I don't even know how to describe it. There was like cubes inside cubes, like an obsidian square, but like it had tons of whatever squares in it. So he was building that thing, and he was connecting tunnels to it, stuff like that. I was like, "Hey, can I help you?" He was like, "Sure." So I helped him. Eventually, we became friends. Just we would just build the tunnels at Spawn, stuff like that. He invited me to Conquest, and at the time, Conquest was not really huge. I think it was like only like 10 people in it. So eventually, Wazy, he started to make the group expand, get more people in it. Eventually, we would find stashes and stuff like that. Actually, my first TBTT video is Wazy giving me coordinates to a stash and me blowing it up. It was called like dang, what was it called? Man.
And that was in 2019.
Yeah, let me find it real quick. It was like dang. Yeah, it was in 2019. So he sent me like coordinates to his place, and I would record myself like being there, and then eventually there was a person at the base, or it was not even a base, it was a dupe stash. So one of the dupe stash players were at the base, and I took, before they were online, I took from their chest like their own shield. So I went back, I showed the shield, and I think they thought I was part of their group, because I was like showing the shield. It's like, "Hey man, I'm part of you." And then I said, "How can I get out of here?" And he was like, "He led me to a portal." I found the video. It's 5 years ago. CBTT raiding a massive Confederacy dupe stash. I guess in Europe.
Who is the Confederacy?
I don't know. It was just like a random stash from a group called Confederacy. So like you can see it in the video. Like I have like the music playing.
All the totems.
Yeah, the totems. Yeah, so there's this guy called Reed Plays 101. Yeah, he just like shows me around the dupe stash. He leads me to a portal, and then that's when I start to blow him up with an end crystal. And then I just started griefing the whole dupe stash. And then his like friend came there as well to fight me. And then they really couldn't do anything. Like you can see in the video, I survived. While I was blowing everything up, they were trying to PvP me, and then eventually they left because they couldn't do anything. And then I blew it up. I was also messaging Wazy. I was messaging Wazy at the same time I was griefing. That is insane. Yeah, this brings back memories. But yeah, that was my first time blowing up like a dupe stash.
Yeah,
I think it's my only time. Like this is after this, I didn't even like blow up any stashes or anything like that. So that's the. I don't know what the original question was, but.
Oh well, what it was about Conquest.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, pretty much after that, we would just keep growing the group. I think when I was making the videos, I was still in Conquest. Or I think it was like for like a year. And then Wazy, eventually he left the server. So I became the owner. And then eventually it just started to die off because I was more focused on YouTube videos and stuff like that. And we didn't really do any group stuff anymore. So, yeah.
What did the group mainly do?
We would just build bases. Yeah, pretty much just like build bases near spawn, and then that's it. And then we build like tunnels at 0-0 sometimes as well.
Okay, so it was like a spawn-based thing.
Oh, we also went to spawn. We would I think we like some people. Well, Wazy, and like some other conquest members, they would go to spawn and PvP players.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we just did stuff like that. We didn't really have like a whole main thing. We were just doing random stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember that Conquest was like pretty big at one point. But I didn't know if it was a building group or like, I guess it's an all of the above group.
Yeah, we just did stuff that like if we're bored, we would just do something.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the YouTube. You said that you were, doing factions videos and things like that before uploading stuff on 2B. And then you did talk about the first, 2B video that you did a minute ago. What was, you did the Southern Canal with acid shaders. That was a really big thing, right?
Yeah, so actually that one was my first video. It was on my second channel, He Is Fast. But the Confederacy one was on my main channel, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So the He Is Fast, what was it? Acid Shaders, Southern Canal. Yeah, that was my first video. I saw some sort of Acid Shaders Minecraft roller coaster type of video. I wanted to do that on 2B2T, so I tried to replicate it. And then eventually, Barondome, another 2B2T YouTuber, he made a message on it, or your YouTube message.
Right.
And then he said, "Hey, keep it up, pretty cool," something along those lines. And I became motivated by Barondome pretty much to make some sort of history type of video content on 2B2T. So my first history video on the server was the water cube at 0-0 overworld spawn, and it was pretty rough. It was not really compared to today, that one was even the history of it was not really accurate. I got comments on that saying it was not that accurate on it and stuff like that. So let me see, which one was it? Yeah, it was 2B2T Archives, the Water Cube, 2018 to 2019. I can send it this one too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see in the video it was not really edited that much. It was just I was testing out replay mod, I think. In this one, yeah, this looks like replay mod. And I was just talk about a brief history about the water cube back then.
Right.
Which is screenshots and stuff like that. It did relatively good. Compared to before I did history videos and stuff like that, I only got hundreds of views, but this one got thousands.
Yeah.
Or 2,000. It's oh yeah, people are actually pretty interested in this. So I would make the history of 2B2T video. Let me try to find it real quick. But it was pretty much this whole video about the history of 2B2T, what I could find. Yeah, the history, 2B2T's history, 2008 to 2019. So for this video, this is when I started messaging old players.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, I messaged XCC2 through Reddit. So what was it? I messaged him, hey, I'm trying to make a video about his 2T's history. Can you help me? And he would I think he sent me the archive, or not the archive, the 2BT wiki for back then. So I would use the 2BT wiki plus getting XCC2's information as well. So eventually I made the video and people liked it. It was pretty good during that time. Pretty sure I got like 10,000 views in like a month, I think, if I remember.
Right, right.
So yeah, I kept making TBTT videos.
That's sitting at 54,000 now. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
And
lot.
this one was not even that accurate too, I would say, because like it was from the TBTT wiki, which like most of it is not accurate. It's like, you have to actually like message the old players.
It varies. It varies. Sometimes
Yeah, it varies.
it's accurate. Sometimes it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like you really started doing it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. And it was all just history of this base, history of the 700 base, history of the Crystal Islands, like all these old pre-June bases that I think built a following of, the more hardcore players, or the players that are like way more interested in the history side of the server. What was the first video you did? Because you've had a few videos that broke 1 million views, or that just went viral, right? What was the first video that broke 1 million views, and what did that feel like? Did that feel different than just getting hundreds of thousands, or I don't know?
Well, I'll say like the first video that got traction to the channel was the history of Space Valkyria, and that one today is close to 1 million. That's when people started to actually watch my back catalog of other videos and started to get like an actual like audience, pretty much. But my first million video, I'm pretty sure that's the Wolfie video from 3 years ago, the oldest dog on TBTT.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. That's got the most views on your channel still.
I mean, if you go to my shorts now have like the largest. I think my large.
Shoot,
yeah.
You're right. Wow, you're killing it with shorts.
Yeah, I think actually, let me check. It was the Immortality book exploits, my most known video.
Yeah.
Currently.
Did you ever see yourself like becoming like a 2B YouTuber, like one of the major YouTubers on the server, or?
I wouldn't say like the major, because back then we had Barondome, we had Dig MC.
Well, you completely dwarfed Dig MC in size. Like,
I mean, when I was first starting, Dig MC and I were like both at. Well, Dig MC had more than me.
How many subs? I'm pretty sure the DonFuer channel is bigger than Dig MC now.
Well, Dig MC's channel got like banned, or not even banned, like deleted. Like
yeah, no, you're right. It did. How many subs did he have before that?
I can't remember. I think it was like. Maybe that's big for that one.
I think it was like 5,000 or something. Like,
I think it was more. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, back then he had more than me. But yeah, he helped me, get a following too, because he told like his stream chat to sub to my channel, stuff like that. And Dig and I, we did podcasts together. Like he was the co-host.
The Fastcast.
Yeah, the Fastcast and Supers. I forgot
the Anarchy podcast.
The Anarchy podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like after that, I will say for my first, the oldest dog Wolfie video. I think it broke 1 million when I was at my job in real life. Like I was sitting in the, what was it? So I was like a phone repair guy before YouTube.
Yeah.
As my first job. Like I was working as I was repairing phones and also doing like a retail type of thing where I would like.
Do you still do that, or are you like actually making a living off YouTube now?
I'm making a living off of YouTube now. I actually was able to quit that job.
Oh my god, that's like the dream, probably, right?
Well, I would
Sort
say
of.
it's not like making big money. It's not like like I could like take vacations and stuff. It's like
Right.
the same amount as that job.
Right.
Well, a
Right.
little bit more, but I don't have to take like drive my car to that place and stuff like that. But yeah, I was like on my chair. I was in actually like the back while I was like stocking like phones and stuff. I would read all these comments saying like, "Oh, this is a cool video," stuff like that. And that was like the first time I really thought like, "Wow, this could actually go somewhere." Because before that, I was like, I was just doing it as like a like a side thing, pretty much.
Yeah, it was a passion project, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
but see, that's how it always starts for people. They start doing videos because they just want to, and then turns out it's a big success.
Yeah. Even now, I still enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. It sounds like you're pretty humble about it too, which is good. But yeah, you're. I mean, I don't think there's any question right now. You're the third biggest on the server, and that's assuming Sal still even uploads. I thought Sal had like sort of quit.
I think he is still playing. I think he said he wants to do outside of TubeTT content more than TubeTT content nowadays. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he wants to do real life content as well. So I'm pretty sure he's like a scuba diver sort of thing. I don't really know the specifics, but yeah.
You know, I bet there is a market for scuba diver YouTube videos.
I would watch that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet there is a market for that. Sal, if you're listening and you want to come on the DonFuer podcast and talk about the scuba diving, so you've done a lot of history videos. What was a video that my channel's tiny, but or by comparison anyway, but I've had I think I've had similar experiences to a lot of YouTubers where you work really hard on a video and then it just does awful. And it's very weird because how well the video does isn't always correlated to how much effort you put into it. Like, putting effort in obviously helps, but I have found that it's a lot more about what your title was, what your thumbnail was. Is the subject matter something that your audience wants? So much more than like how much effort you put in. Was there ever a video? I mean, you could disagree with that if you want to, but was there ever a video that you felt like you, I don't know, spent too much time on, or you uploaded and you were like, wow, that was that was not worth it, or something like that?
Yeah, I would say that's happened. Like, there has definitely been videos where like I thought they would actually do really well, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. Let me look at the videos. But yeah, I do agree. Like the thumbnail and the title really helps how a video will do, and especially the first 10 seconds. That's how you keep people like in the video, and also gain traction to the video as well. Let me try to find a video that I thought would do well. It was like the Linked Horizon one. I thought that one was pretty good, but looking at it now, 2 years ago, I would say like the thumbnail is not that good, and the title as well. What I've come to realize is that like you shouldn't make these titles like, well, you don't make them clickbait, but you also can like make them interesting, right? Because like if you go to my recent video, my recent video is about 2 bases on the server, like the rise and fall of those bases.
Right.
I could have just said like the history of what was it? Like these like the history of name the base, something like that,
Yeah.
basic, and that would not get the viewership and stuff like that. You can do like something like every 2BTT base will be found, which is, pretty much true if you look at the whole history of the server. So you can do something like that, make it relevant to the video, like say, explain why every base will be found in the video, give like an explanation. The explanation is like the 2 bases that got found,
Right.
and then like give like an outro, like the past bases as well, and then reflect that with real life stuff like that.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, because see, you're delivering on the promise of the title, but it's not exactly in the way that, I don't know. The title is somewhat ambiguous, right?
Yeah, it's mysterious. Like it gives people a reason to click on the video, and also the thumbnail. You want the thumbnail to be like simple but like interesting.
That video, like that thumbnail is killer. Like,
that thumbnail is. I was saving it for an ImSpace video, but I still have to work on it. But like I was working on the ImSpace video like a year ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I made a thumbnail for it, but I never used it. And I had it on my desktop. And I didn't have a thumbnail for the recent video. I was like, what? I might as well just use this thumbnail. So, and it worked. I mean, like,
yeah. It's
like,
a really good thumbnail. It really captures like the idea of every base getting found and sort of the passage of time and all of that. And it's obviously doing very, very well. So
I'm trying to think like a older video. I would say for so 7 months ago I made a video about old Minecraft wallpapers.
Yes, I'm looking at that one too right now.
So that video didn't get so much traction. Like it only got like I think less than 100,000 for like the first few months, and then all of a sudden like it got tons of views. Later when I changed the thumbnail. So yeah, that one was pretty weird. I would say for my channel, like the traction is slow at first, and then it picks up like a month later or something like that. It's weird.
Yeah, that's one of the parts of like YouTube that I have found to be the most annoying, I guess, is I cannot tell, like I can design, I feel like I can design a thumbnail that looks good, but then in miniature it doesn't look good. Or like I'll have text on a thumbnail versus no text on a thumbnail, and some people have a formula that they just follow every single time. It seems like you don't really have a formula, because just looking through these, they're all different.
Yeah, but I come to realize after that every 2BTT base video will be, or every 2BTT base will be found, is trying to make some like thumbnails more mysterious and simple. Because if you look at my 2BTT best mods and clients for 1.20 video, like that one didn't get as many views compared to the other videos.
Right.
But that video is also like a tutorial. It's not really like a history video.
Yeah. But see, that video's thumbnail is using like
a lot of stuff.
It's using like thumbnail rules that you would think would be good. Like you've got the meme arrow and the like white line dividing two different things. That's in so many thumbnails.
Well, I think it's because it's in so many thumbnails that people don't want to click on it anymore. They want something new.
Yeah, it looks generic now, I guess. I don't know. The I really, really like the 1.19 disaster thumbnail.
Oh, that one?
That's hilarious. Just I don't know, the fire and the giant Housemaster and everything.
Yeah, I like that one.
I wonder if the like 2BTT audience, I guess the 2BTT audience knows what Housemaster's skin looks like, right? Is that
100%
popularized?
Like it's the same as like Pop Bob.
Yeah,
everyone knows Pop Bob's skin.
People know Pop Bob's skin.
But I don't think people know like the Housemaster's like IGN. They think it's like I think it's like Housemaster or something like that. But they don't think it's like Housemaster with the A instead of the O. But Pop Bob is like I think the most notorious player on
Is
2B2T.
is Tristan's skin well known enough?
I think Tristan's up there. But Pop Bob is like the number one.
I just say that
You can probably see on Name MC too. Let me see.
I just see that because you put his skin in the. I mean, it was Tristan's hole, but
Yeah.
you put his skin in the thumbnail for that.
Yeah, like let's say like on Name MC, Pop Up gets 1,500 searches a month, and then for Tristan, it's only 281 a month.
On July,
I've noticed Fit does this too, though. Like he'll put someone in the thumbnail if he thinks their skin is like recognizable enough. Like Pop Bob, he'll put in the thumbnail, but sometimes he just puts Steve in the thumbnail.
Well, yeah, let me see Fit's thumbnails real quick. I haven't checked in a while. I did know he uploaded. Fit has a better upload schedule than me right now. Let me see. So yeah, Fit, his recent video, he did the Pop Bob TNT thing. Even though Pop Bob's not in that video, I'm pretty sure.
No, definitely not.
But I mean, it does well. I mean, yeah.
But like the Randar thing, like who the heck is that? That's not anybody.
That's a Chad.
that's not anybody's skin. Like
Chad Steve.
Or the Spawnquarium, that's like just a random aquarium skin. And then on a bunch of them, he just uses Steve. But then if you scroll back far enough, he did use Pyrobite's skin. How a Sheep Changed 2v2t Forever. So he obviously thinks that Pyrobite's skin is well known enough to justify using it instead of using Steve.
You see Pyrobite. Yeah, Pyrobite gets like 200 a month on Name MC too. I think it depends because like, you know, Tristan, Pyrobite, they were part of like the whole, you know, like the backdoors and stuff on 2B2T, stuff like that. So people know who they are pretty much. Because I would say most people, let me look at Fit's most famous video. Let me see, popular. Like, people know who Chris Layden is, right? Because they know the king of 2B2T, Chris Layden. And that's Fit's most popular video. History of Kings. That's like, Pyrobite's in that thumbnail too.
Yeah, he is.
I'm trying to think. What else? Like the fall of Minecraft 2B2T. Tristan was probably in that as well.
I don't know who that's supposed to be. It's a drawing.
Oh yeah, I'm saying like in the video, like I'm pretty sure Tristan was in there.
Oh.
And
yeah.
then I think that's FimC fan art.
Oh, that's Art of Fit. Okay, that makes more sense.
So yeah, pretty much like, you know, FimC, Sal, and we all use like the YouTuber tactic of like simple thumbnails. Like so the rule for thumbnails is like have like only 3 things in the thumbnail that will get people's attention. You need a background is 1, 2 is like a face, and then 3 is like some like I don't know, something like a text or something like that. Which you can see in like Fit's videos. Like he has a background, which is 1. 2, I'm looking at FimC, that's his face, and then he has like 3 the eBay text on it.
Everyone always has the like either their face or somebody's face. That's what it seems like.
And it works because these videos get like millions of views.
Right. Right. People like the face. I don't know. We've gone down the algorithm discussion rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, if someone's watching this, want to be a YouTuber, I would just say search up like tactics. Look at like popular YouTube channels, see what their thumbnail includes, and then try to replicate that and make it your own style. Don't like, you know, one-on-one on a thumbnail. Try to like make it your own style, and then if it works, then just expand on that.
Right.
And then yeah.
So
that works with videos as well.
I'm definitely going to take that advice. I'm sure a lot of people watching this are interested in trying to make 2B videos or whatever, and hopefully that'll help some people.
You don't need these courses. People sell courses and stuff like that. You don't need those. Just look at what works, and then just replicate it until it does work for you. That's
right. It. There's no penalty for a video doing badly. Actually, there might be.
I mean, as long as you have content planned, and then if one video gets popular for that video, then people are look at your channel and then see your back catalog, and then those videos will get views as well. That's what happened to my channel. Like my Space Valkyria video got super popular, and then people saw my backlog of videos, and then that's how I built like an audience. Same with the shorts too. Like that worked the shorts. Like one short, like I got like millions of views, and then they saw my other shorts, and that's how it started that cycle.
How do you feel about like tags on videos and stuff? I've heard some people say that tags are super, super important, and then I've heard other people say that they basically don't matter.
I think for shorts, I think they might matter for sure. I don't really know, to be honest. Like I don't use tags. I would say for the tags, there's like an option. I think like if you're in the editing page of a YouTube video, there's like on the bottom there's like tags you can put on there.
Yeah.
For me, I put 2B2T, 2BT Minecraft, 2B2T Fastvincent1, Minecraft, 2B2T history, just like stuff like that.
I went through a phase where I thought tags mattered a lot. So what I did was I literally like inspected Element or something on a FitMC video and just stole all of his tags. So now every DonFuer video that gets uploaded that is about 2B just has all of FitMC's tags.
I don't really put that much tags. I only put I think like 10. There's just it just replicates 2B2T, 2BT history.
Yeah.
And then if there's something like a main point in the video, I would put that in a tag. Like let's say it's about Pop Bob, I would put Pop Bob, 2B2T, stuff like that. And then
I don't think they actually matter as much as some people say, though.
Yeah, I think for shorts, that's when you want tags in your title. Because in my shorts, I have hashtag shorts, hashtag 2B2T, hashtag Minecraft.
Yeah.
I don't know if those work or not. I don't want to really try without them, but for me, it works. So I don't know if I really don't know if they work, but they probably do because I get a lot of views on them. But I don't know.
So 2B2T is changing in the past, couple years. I mean, it's always changing, but there's been a distinct shift, I think, away from the toxicity and away from the crazy 4chan type culture towards a lot more mainstreamification. And this has been, of course, this is obviously predictable when the huge influx of people came in 2020 and the subsequent years. This was obviously a predictable thing. But I don't know. Do you think the server has changed, and how will it change in the future?
So, I will say it's not just 2B2T, but the entire internet. I mean, look at the content produced back in 2016. We had Filthy Frank, Filthy Frank, iDubbbz, people like that. They made this the whole edgy era. We had Leafy is here, people like that, and
Leafy.
They were popular.
I remember Leafy.
Yep. They were toxic.
Watch Leafy.
Yeah, they were toxic, edgy, people like that. That era pretty much died after 2016, and that's when all the people stopped being edgy. They were PC now, pretty much. I mean, that's the whole internet nowadays. I don't think it's just 2BT. I mean, I would say maybe one day once it shifts again back to edgy era, I would say maybe that's when TBT goes back to that root of like edginess and stuff like that. But no one really knows, I guess. So, the future is unpredictable. I would say like it was like the edginess and like these eras, they come in waves. Once something becomes boring, then people will try to push into that era, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but they all come back in waves.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think that's... Yeah. That sounds right. It does kind of come in waves. So, what do we have to look forward to from the Fast Vincent channel in the future?
Well, you're gonna have tons of shorts. You're gonna have epic videos about history, about TBTT, maybe even Minecraft videos, like Minecraft history videos as well. I really want to do like like the history of old factions, because it's so similar to 2v2t. Like we talked about, like the old castles,
right?
And like the whole player base back then was pretty much like 2v2t, but it had like these claims and stuff, but it didn't really matter since people could just like jump over the wall and then place TNT, or just like place a creeper egg.
Yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, luring creepers into someone's base and then blowing it up. I remember doing that.
Yeah, and even on the faction, like the server I played on, we could just buy creeper eggs and then you can place them in claimed areas. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much just like griefing. So I want to do a video about that. I want to do a video about the rise and fall of like Minecraft Java servers, because I also talked about that, about like YouTubers advertising it. Could be a pretty interesting topic. I want to do a video about ImSpace, Narnia. It's gonna be soon, hopefully. The Russia War. I still have tons of videos I gotta do. I have a whole list actually, and then I have to remake my videos, my long videos, into shorts. So then, like, I get more people watching the long videos. And then that's the plan for me. Also do some streams as well, because I upgraded my PC recently. I got like more RAM and then upgraded my power supply.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can do higher quality streams soon.
So there's a lot of content coming down for Fast Vincent fans. I hope everyone in the audience is subscribed. Probably they all are. But if you're not, go subscribe to Fast Vincent. I want to thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to do this. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to leave us with?
Subscribe to DonFuer. Very epic.
Well, thank you. Thanks for that. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.